So Anime Adventures released their Sakamoto Days update, update 19.5, and besides the new content, we also got a little hidden, little shadow update here in the form of remodels. A good chunk of the units in this update, they weren't remodeled themselves, but some of the old units did receive some visual changes. And I did my best to scour up every single image that I could to find out which units exactly were remodeled, because it wasn't mentioned in the update logs, and I couldn't do it. So right now on the screen, I'll just put up pictures of some of the more recent ones that just got changed this update, I'm pretty sure. And if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me on any of these. Regardless, my point still stands, and it still leads into the thesis of this video. Is Anime Adventures going down the Anime Defenders path? Are they going to turn into anything adventures? Will the new models become so far away from the source material that it'll drive people away, similar to Anime Defenders? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. And if you don't know what the Anime Defenders effect is, allow me to explain it for you. Once upon a time, and this feels like it was ages ago, but this was literally like maybe 6 or 8 months ago, Anime Defenders sat at the top of anime tower defense games. It had a very, very unique position because Anime Adventures was gone, presumably forever. This is before we knew that it was going to come back. Anime Vanguards was in development, also presumably forever, because they delayed it for like the 50th time. So fans of the game were just kind of sitting there waiting with their fingers crossed. So all that people had to play in terms of ATD games was Anime Defenders, Anime Last Stand, Anime World Tower Defense. Like, I don't think ASTD is in the conversation anymore. It's pretty barren in terms of the player count, but I could be wrong. What I'm trying to say is, at the time, Anime Defenders had the biggest player base, but they came to a problem. They started remodeling a lot of their units, and we can only assume this is because they got a warning from someone on Roblox saying, hey, your game is pretty big, you're gonna get sued if you keep stealing this IP, these IPs, these intellectual properties that aren't yours. What do I mean by that? It's just copying anime character models one-to-one as to how they are in the anime. I'm sure all of you guys know this, but no Roblox game on the platform has licensing rights to use any of the anime characters that they add into their updates. Maybe there are some. I know that the one My Hero game that got Anime Adventures taken down, they have the rights to it. But, I don't know. Officially licensed anime Roblox games usually suck ass. And the My Hero game was no exception. That game absolutely blows. But I'm getting off topic. What I'm trying to say is, the Anime Defenders effect is when you start remodeling your existing units slowly but surely, more and more, until they become a shell of their former self. Now they are effectively unrecognizable, and that takes out a lot of the enjoyment from this game, or from these types of games, for the player base. I would accredit the remodels in Anime Defenders to one of the main reasons as to why their game fell from grace as hard as it did. And frankly, that same future would not look good for Anime Adventures. Although I don't think that's going to happen to them anytime soon. I'll explain why later in the video. But back to Anime Defenders, they went from averaging well over 100k player. Excuse me, something in my throat. They went from averaging well over 100k players in their previous updates, and then the player count just kept dwindling and dwindling and dwindling until it is what it is right now, where they have like under 2,000 players. So it's safe to say the game's past its prime. And although Anime Defenders definitely did some things wrong that led to the game falling off, more specifically things like the trading economy, the remodels, some of the new currencies, a very important cautionary tale that Anime Defenders shows all other games on the platform, at least in the tower defense genre, is that you have to be very, very careful with your remodels. Because the point of anime tower defense games is that you have anime units. So when you start changing things on a very, very noticeable level, things start to become a little bit hazy, Now you start questioning to yourself, why am I playing this game to begin with if I can't use my favorite anime characters? It feels like I'm using an OC. And that would honestly apply to some of the new Anime Adventures remodels. Like I said, I don't have all of them memorized, but the main one that comes to mind, Sepsis or Gyutaro, he does not look like the anime version of himself anymore. His face is different, his weapons are different, He looks like he came straight out of Forsaken. He looks like one of the killers, but he no longer looks like Gyutaro. And that's not to say that this model looks ugly, nor do the VFX for that character look bad. Anime Adventures has never had a problem with looking good. It has always been a very visually appealing game. But now we start seeing shortcomings on the visual aspects of things, like the remodels. Sepsis is one of my favorite units in the game, not because he's insanely strong or overpowered, but he was just one of the first mythics that I ever got when I started playing the game, and he was one of the first ones that I grinded for its evolution. In fact, at the time that I'm recording this video, I don't even think I got the evolution. I got bored midway of grinding the Demon Slayer raids. But what I'm trying to say is, he holds a special place in my heart. He really, really does. And to see him get absolutely defiled like this, like, that's not bro anymore. I don't know what they did to him, but he's gone. He is dead to me. It's a little bit sad to see, but it's a necessary evil, right? Anime Adventures has already been taken down once, and I don't really think copyright infringement and law enforcement is like the baseball system, 3 strikes you're out. I'm imagining that they're lucky to even have a second chance to begin with. If they ever were to get taken down again, which would really be the doomsday scenario, I don't see them coming back from that ever, and I'm pretty sure they know that too, right? The hype for a single game can only last so long. Like, look at Type Soul for an example. That game revived and died like 3 times, but it's proof that everything on Roblox is temporary. It's not going to last forever. Same logic applies to Anime Adventures. They really want to be able to capitalize on the amount of hype in the player base that they currently have, and if they got taken down a second time, that would be very, very bad. So I know why these remodels are happening. It's very evident as to why they're doing that. They're playing it safe. They're being cautious. And I absolutely understand that, because the last thing that anyone wants, developers and players alike, is for the game to get taken down again. And some of these units that they're choosing to remodel are from some very well-known animes. Demon Slayer, JoJo's, Attack on Titan. Animes that could very well be seen, like, the Anime Adventures could catch the eye of these IP holders, and then, ooh, things will start going south. And here's the thing, right? Will these new remodels necessarily kill the game? Do I think that these remodels are beginning to spell the end of Anime Adventures? Absolutely not. Because here's the thing. Something that I've noticed when I'm looking at all of these new characters that got remodeled, one common factor, at least in my opinion, is that they're remodeling the lesser used characters. Barring some characters like Ainz, the Secret, who's like super duper good. He got remodeled, and he's still a very heavily used character, or Sid, or Dio Over Heaven. But the remodels for those units, they were very, very careful with those. I can tell that they took extra time when they remodeled those units, because they still look different, but they look just close enough to the source material for them to be immediately recognizable. Things like Gyutaro, or I think her name's Hanji. I'll put a picture of her on the screen. Characters like these are starting to become devoid of their identity. The changes made to their models are just so vast that I really struggle to remember exactly what character they are. But back to my topic, right? I think that the units that they're choosing to remodel, even if they don't look like the anime anymore, even if you don't like how the new models look, let's be honest, they're pretty underutilized characters in the first place. The main characters that everyone actually cares about and are using, like the units from the new update, the Sakamoto Days units, those look very, very close to the source material, and they look good. So there's not much to worry about on that end. Or, you know, characters from the newer updates, like the Frozen Abyss thing. Frieren looks exactly like she does in the anime in-game. That's great. Another example is the Secret Aizen unit. He looks very, very similar to how he does in the mobile game. I'm pretty sure he's not from the anime, but what I'm trying to say is the newer, more relevant units look amazing, look really great, and I think that's the main thing that we have to be worried about. Once new units start being added that look like they came straight out of a fanfic, then I guess that's when we can start worrying a little bit. But for now, I think Anime Adventures is fine. Yes, the new remodels are unfortunate. They look a little bit off, unpleasant at best, but you gotta accept that if you want this game to be around for the long run, they can't keep infringing on IP laws. It's just not something that they can get away with anymore, especially not a game as big as Anime Adventures. So do I think this spells the end of the game? Absolutely not, dude. The people that are overreacting about it just never liked the game to begin with, but the game is fine. I will say update 19.5, definitely one of the more underwhelming updates that we've received. If I'm looking back on all the updates as I'm reading on the wiki, and this one's kind of just like, eh. I can imagine the update took 5 weeks, not because they were purely working on content, but because they were remodeling a bunch of units. So maybe once we reach a point where they don't need to remodel as many things every single update, we will get things faster. I know that's wishful thinking though, so who knows. But that's going to bring us into the end of this video. Let me know what you guys think about the remodels in this game and whether they make or break the game for you. For me personally, I don't mind them too much. It is what it is, and the game still looks good and feels good to play regardless, so I'll just keep playing it. For the people worried about my Noob to Pro series, the reason I haven't made one in a while is just because I'm trying to make substantial progress for episode 5 before I post it. So that's going to take me a little longer, but rest assured it's in the works. With all that being said, that's going to be it from me. If you made it till the end, thank you for watching. Have a great day or night wherever you are. Stay tuned for more content, and we will catch you in the next one.